Turkey is continuing its push into northern Syria with the death toll growing and plans for what's being labelled ethnic cleansing. Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfield is in Turkey and filed this report, a warning that some may find these images confronting.
On the streets of one border town, Syrian rebels, now backed by Turkey, move in. They're part of the ground offensive to drive Kurds out. US officials believe Islamic State and Al-Qaeda sympathisers are among them as they turn on the Kurds in brutal fashion. This video shows the Arab militias executing a Kurd on the roadside. As missiles rain down from above, dropped from Turkish warplanes, Kurdish leaders warn they're now fighting two wars after US troops dramatically withdrew their support a week ago.
We're still cooperating with the international coalition to fight Islamic State. We're now fighting on two fronts, one against the Turkish invasion and another against Islamic State.
These three boys have been left orphaned by Islamic State in Syria. Their father killed by the terrorists, cared for now by a relative after fleeing to Turkey. I don't want to live with Islamic State because they are so brutal, he tells me. But this conflict is complex. Another Syrian family who fled here to Turkey 6 years ago wants the Kurds out of their old Syrian hometown too. With the help of Almighty God, he says, we will see our land cleared by the Turkish military operation. Over the course of the Syrian conflict, 6.5 million people have fled over the border from Syria here to Turkey. And the Turkish government is determined to send at least half of them back as part of this military operation. The question is, at what cost to Kurdish lives? As fears grow, a genocide is underway. A hospital in the Kurdish stronghold of Hasaka is treating patients who've been injured, it's claimed, by the Turkish operation.
The number of injured people is massive. Children, women, the elderly, and there are still people who remain in this town and are suffering.
These people who once counted on the West and the US for protection, now living in fear.
And our Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfield is on the Turkey-Syria border for us. Hugh, the Turkish operation appears relentless.
Mark, just over the border from here is the town of Ras Al Ain. We've seen fresh bombing raids and heard gunfire from there just in the last hour. It's clear US troops are still in Syria, but they've obviously been told to stay out of this conflict. Just a week ago, they were standing shoulder to shoulder with Kurdish troops. One senior Kurdish military commander has apparently told a US diplomat to the region that, quote, "You are leaving us to be slaughtered. You have sold us. This is immoral." It's not just Turkey that's creating this so-called peace corridor on the other side of the border, but the Arab militias that they've signed up to help as well, and it is clear the methods they are using are not peaceful. Mark.
Hugh Whitfield, thank you.